What if the cost of ultimate power wasn't your money, or even your soul, but the life force of the people you loved most? How far can a political elite go for power if the only price tag was his own family? This is the horror story of Kwesi Nkrumah and the cursed minister's chair from Accra. Kwesi was young, brilliant, and newly minted as the Minister of Finance. He was arrogant with success, ready to move mountains. His new office in the stately colonial-era ministry building was imposing, but one object caught his eye: an antique mahogany chair, intricately carved with symbols that looked like twisted, interlocking vines. The maintenance staff had tried to discard it, calling it unlucky and far too heavy. But Kwesi, dismissing their superstition as village nonsense, saw a legacy. He insisted it be the only chair he used, sitting in its dark embrace on his very first day. That day, the chair seemed to click. Kwesi's political fortunes didn't just rise, they exploded. His hesitant policies were instantly embraced. His dry speeches became hypnotic, and the president called him a genius. He felt an intense, overwhelming rush of energy whenever he was seated. He was invincible. But back home, the shadows began to gather. Kwesi's wife, Akosua, a talented architect, was the first. Her firm, which had been thriving for years, lost 2 massive, non-negotiable contracts in 1 week. Then she developed a crippling phantom illness, migraines so severe they were blinding, yet doctors found nothing wrong. Akosua began spending days in bed, her vitality draining away. Then came Kofi, their bright, athletic teenage son. Kofi was an exceptional football scholar, destined for university abroad. Suddenly, he broke his leg in a bizarre solo accident that ended his athletic career. Worse, the family began receiving calls. Kofi had developed a ferocious, uncontrollable gambling habit, sinking his tuition fund into shady local pools. Kwesi's political capital was being financed by Kofi's fortune and Akosua's health. Kwesi was too high on the scent of power to see the connection. He was passing landmark bills in Parliament. He was celebrated on international news. But his political surges were always immediately preceded by a domestic catastrophe. The terrible truth came from an unlikely source, an aged, retired cleaner named Mama Rose. She recognized the chair. Leaning close one evening, she whispered to Kwesi that the chair had once belonged to a disgraced chief of staff who performed an ancient, forgotten ritual. It wasn't just wood. It was a receptacle, a machine of juju power. The chief had cursed it to ensure that anyone who sat in it would gain power by draining the health and luck of their innocent kin. Kwesi laughed nervously, until Mama Rose recounted the old chief's last words. The power is free, but the price is always blood. Terrified, Kwesi tried to move the chair. He and 3 security guards strained, sweating, but the antique piece was supernaturally heavy, fused to the floorboards. The next day, desperate, he avoided the chair and sat on a regular stool. He was instantly clumsy, stuttering through his budget presentation, and he narrowly lost a critical vote. Later that evening, he received a frantic call. Akosua had collapsed and was rushed to the hospital. Kwesi returned to his office alone. He looked at the chair. It felt warm, beckoning him. He knew the terms now. To save his career, he had to doom his family. He walked to the chair, his face a mask of horrifying ambition. His life was now just 2 choices: integrity and poverty, or power and death. He sat down. The energy surged, higher than ever before. He passed the controversial bill that guaranteed him another decade of wealth and influence. He was declared a national hero. But as the news anchors praised his genius, his phone rang again. It was the hospital. Akosua was gone. His son Kofi, suffering a mental breakdown from the gambling debts and sickness, had vanished. Kwesi Nkrumah, the most powerful man in the country, stood alone at his wife's funeral. The political elite bowed to him. The people cheered his name. When he returned to his office early the next morning, he felt only a profound, hollow guilt. He went to sit in his cursed throne, but the chair was different. It was cool, inert. When he tried to sit, a strange metallic odor hit him. He tried again, and the wood rejected him entirely, throwing him to the floor. The contract was fulfilled. The chair had consumed its required price, his family, and no longer needed him. Kwesi Nkrumah was left with his empire, haunted by the knowledge that he was a man who had chosen a seat of power over the souls of his own blood. A curse from the savannah had bled dry the heart of a modern city,